heart disease, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune disease, and early death. America has perpetuated a standard of failure. And this standard of failure you've been hearing for over 2 years now, it is known and has been glamorized and coined as something called body positivity. And we have a spokesperson that has been very vocal and is now the poster child for this atrocity named Lizzo. Today, let's dive into it and let's talk about it. Welcome back and thank you for joining me. I am none other than your favorite millennial personality, the one and only Miss Cecily. You have just entered into the chat for millennial women, known none other than What the Cecily. Today, we're going to dive right into another episode where we are discussing and debunking the brainwashing of America, where they are allowing and wanting women, especially women that are obese and overweight, to feel like this is normal. And there's nothing normal about obesity. We are going to talk about that, dive in, and let's go a little bit further. So I want to start out with the definition of obese. Obese is defined as being grossly fat and or overweight. So let's get into one of the biggest pop stars known to date. A lot of women and a lot of children look up to her, and she is Lizzo. You know Lizzo as being an American pop star. She's a singer. She plays the flute, and she performs all different types of genre: pop, hip hop, R&B, and soul. So she came on the forefront, and she basically made this big scene. Came on and everyone fell in love with her, which is great because she is phenomenal and she is awesome. But on the back end, let's talk about something that has really been pushed to the forefront since we were all in lockdown. If you take a minute and think about it, when it started in lockdown and everyone started saying they were gaining COVID weight from being inside for so long and having to eat this and eat that. And a lot of people made a lot of unhealthy choices. That's where the phrase body positivity really came to light and was really pushed forward. Now, Lizzo came into the light when I don't know if she coined herself as being the spokesperson or if she just began using the phrase and it kind of stuck with her. But either way, Lizzo became the poster woman for this body positivity movement, right? Well, with this particular body positivity and this movement, it is really a standard of failure. And it's a standard of failure because we have decided to glamorize obesity and glamorize being overweight. And we have just put a bow on it, wrapped it up, and coined it as being body positivity. And that's a whole bunch of BS. Now, anyone that calls out people and say, "Hey, well, wait a minute. That can't be body positivity. That's just, obesity and you're just trying to say that it's okay to be obese. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to be overweight." Well, it's not. It's not okay because your body was never designed for you to be overweight and you to carry so much weight. That's why you can't function at your peak when you're overweight. Think about it. Anyone that all have walking around weight, right? So my walking around weight, I'll share a little bit with you. My walking around weight just to walk around every day would be about 115 pounds. When I'm not training for any type of physical competition or bodybuilding competition, my walking around weight is between 115 to 120 pounds. So anytime that I get above 115, 120 pounds, I notice a change in my body. That's why you need to be in tune with your body. Maybe I'm a little slower. Maybe I'm a little more winded. I'm not as fast as I normally would be. But those are things that your body is giving you these indicators and telling you, hey, we picked up a little more weight. We need to cut back a little bit more, do a little more exercise. Okay. So our body gives us those indicators. And when we're talking about obesity, we're not talking about, someone that is maybe 10 to 15 pounds overweight. We're speaking of people who are morbidly obese. You can look at the different websites that tell you what your average weight and height should be according to your size. So if you take, for instance, if you are 5'5", it will tell you if you're a woman, this is what the low range of weight is, this is the average, and this is over the range. And it will also give you your BMI. So this is giving you the healthy weight for your height. Now, with doing that, I want to leave you with this quote that I have, and it was really befitting because it said, "What you eat in private will eventually be what you wear in public. Be nourished inside and out." So I'll read it again. What you eat in private will eventually be what you wear in public. Be nourished inside and out. So, in other words, a lot of people like to not tell the truth, especially when they're supposed to be on this weight loss journey. And you're saying, hey, if you've been on this journey for this many months and you're not seeing any type of results, something has to be wrong. So, when I am training a client and they say, oh, I've been sticking to my meal plan and I can't seem to lose weight and I'm working out 30 to 45 minutes per day, 5 to 6 days out of the week. Well, wait a minute. I've been doing this long enough and I've been working with myself long enough to know that you're lying. You can't you can't outrun a bad diet. So and you can't out train a bad diet. So if your diet is trash, it's gonna show up in your body. So whatever you put in your mouth and you gorge yourself with, it is going to show up in your outer appearance. Okay. And if we're going to be 100% honest about this body positivity movement, let's just go ahead and call it what it is. It celebrates morbid obesity. A lot of people don't like the truth, and it may sting and hurt. However, it is always necessary. And it's necessary amongst us women, and I'll go even further by saying it's extremely necessary amongst us African American women because we tend to sugarcoat and not tell the truth to our sisters, to our family members, and to our friends. But if you are my keeper and I am my sister's keeper, then we should have that line of communication that's open and that love to say, hey, we have gotten to a point where we are overweight and it is not healthy. We need to make better choices and it starts today. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Okay. You did not get to that weight in one day. So you cannot believe that that weight is going to come off within one day. Right. So we have to start telling not only ourselves the truth, because if you can't be honest with yourself, we can't expect you to be honest with anyone else. So it starts with you. You have to tell yourself the truth, tell your friends and your family members the truth, and let them know, hey, we have these unhealthy habits and we need to do better and we need to start right now. The time is now. We're not putting it off tomorrow. We're not starting Monday because listen, we said we were going to go to the gym next Monday. And last year, we didn't even make it to the gym one Monday out the year. It kept being, oh, I'll go next week. I'll go next week. Until now, it's 2022 and 2021 is over. You can't get that back. So start today. Start right now. I also went a little bit further in looking up what the Bible had to say in regards to gluttony and overeating. So I will take you to the book of Proverbs, which is Proverbs 23 and 20. And it says, do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat. So that's what the Bible had to say in regards to gluttony and overeating. So let's turn a little bit and go, let's take a shift and let's go towards America and how we got to this point of glamorizing obesity. So, America is it's a different type of country. So go with me if you will. Tell me, in what other country, just think, in what other country besides America do you have an entire group of people that look the way they do and they are a particular age group over the age of 30, especially women that are overweight. Think of another country, and I can't think of one because America is the leading. Yes, of course, there are always going to be some people or a margin of people in any country and in any setting that are that fit that mold. So there are a particular group of people in each country that are overweight. But what I am saying is in America, there's more than just a small amount of people that are overweight. This is a huge number of individuals. And when we first went to lockdown and IG, Instagram, TikTok, all of that was all the rage because everyone was in showing you a lot of their lives and getting a lot of in-depth things about them that we wouldn't normally see and know because we were all in and we kind of had this sense of family and close knitness going on and everyone was turning to the internet. So you saw a lot of celebrities, what they do, some of which you saw a lot of celebrities that were gaining a lot of weight and they were having these bad habits. And one of those people, which again became the poster child for body positivity, was Lizzo. You saw her in a lot of her unhealthy choices just far in the forefront and just loud and proud and just out there for everyone in the entire world to see. And my biggest problem with Lizzo and her platform and pushing this unhealthy narrative is that you're celebrating this unhealthy behavior and you're celebrating the continued cycle of it being unhealthy. It's not, oh, I had a cheat meal or I had a bad day or I was going through something and I fell off the wagon, but I got back on Tuesday. Monday was pretty bad. I was going through something. Hey, but I internalized and I went over things and I said, hey, tomorrow's a new day. It will be better. And I'm getting back on the wagon on Tuesday. But that's not what happened here. It was and has been a continual cycle of just gorging herself on these unhealthy things. And then she puts it out on the internet for everyone to see. And we have to continue to see her shaking her whole ass and seeing the crack of her ass. And it's like, why are you doing this? And the first thing that happens when someone is saying, hey, Lizzo, this is not being confident. This is not self confident. This is not any of those self love type of things. This is you trying to hide behind your insecurities. And then when someone calls you out and say, hey, we want you to love yourself. We're all for self love, but that's not what you're doing here. She gets upset. She gets mad. And then again, you will see a video of her shaking her whole ass, her crack, and everything else. And she's telling you to kiss her ass. You're either going to love it or you're not. Okay. And there's loving yourself, but this is beyond loving yourself. This is an addiction. Okay. And some people have an addiction. That's where you have to seek out professional help, a therapist that can help you get to the foundation and the root of maybe why you overeat, why you're an emotional eater. Why do you do these things when this happens? So that when that happens again, because life will always happen to us, then you know how to combat that and you don't eat yourself into a hole of abyss and you're not getting to the point where you've gained so much weight and you've gotten to the point of no return and now the physicians and the doctors are saying, hey, there's nothing else we can do. We've done all that we can do. Your decades of unhealthy eating and unhealthy habits and no exercising and eating the most unhealthy foods, it has now come back to haunt you. No one wants to hear that. No one wants that for anyone. So let's make a change. We also can't wrap this unhealthy behavior up and try to put a big red bow on it and call it something that's great because it's not that. We're going to stop glamorizing this unhealthy behavior. Did you know that the average American, which is almost majority of the country, 40% of Americans in our population are now overweight. And it is said by the time of 2025, that number will skyrocket even more. And that's not even discussing or taking into account children. We're talking about adults strictly. Okay. So if that number does not scare you, it should. With Lizzo and her platform, she has what several billion or million followers on her platform, and I would really love to see her use that platform for something great. There are a lot of women just like Lizzo that look up to her and that look like her physically. And they look up to her because they say, "Hey, she's just like me." What would be great is if Lizzo would use her platform and partner with someone that can help people in the situation just like her, especially women just like her, because we lead in all of these different diseases and all of these illnesses and die at an earlier rate than we should or we have to because we decide to not care for our bodies. And it amazes me, especially when we talk about Black women. It really amazes me that a Black woman is so just it's so not even thinking that and I would say it's so ignorant that she would take money to buy hair, someone else's hair. She spends hundreds of dollars to buy someone else's hair because you got to have the hair. Spends hundreds of dollars to get her nails done because everybody wants Cardi B's nails or everybody wants to look like the bad bitch or you got to get bad bitch nails, right? Hundreds of dollars on that. Hundreds upon thousands of dollars on taking these trips just for likes on Instagram and on any type of social media. And oh, we can't forget the clothes. So we're gonna spend. We got to have a Birkin bag, so thousands of dollars for a Birkin bag. We got to have all makeup, hundreds of dollars for that, and you can spend all of this money, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars right there. That's crazy. In materialistic things that none of it matters because A, you have natural hair, you have natural nails. You don't need these things, but you can spend your money on whatever you want. That's not the point. The point is you can spend $10,000 in a couple of months on these frivolous things, but you will eat a 4 for 4 or you will eat McDonald's, which makes no sense to me. You will put trash in your body, but don't care how your body looks. Think about it. And then let's not even go in any further because once you get to the point where you say, "Oh, well, I'll just go to Dr. Miami and get that fixed." But that's a whole nother topic for another day, and we will dive into that as well because that definitely doesn't fix the problem. Your unhealthiness and your unhealthy behaviors and choices will not be fixed by going under the knife when it's not necessary and risking your life when all you have to do is make changes in the way that you behave. And it starts psychologically. That's what a lot of people have not realized is that it's all about your mindset and a mindset shift. So if we are to combat the epidemic of obesity in America, that is where we have to start. We have to start with being real with ourselves and honest with ourselves, and then with our friends and our families. Because if these people are people that you love, you want them to be here a lot longer with you, and you want to be here a lot longer as well. I just find it really odd that a lot of people, especially obese women, like to say, "Oh, well, I'm very confident. I love myself." Okay. Well, in my opinion, if you loved yourself, you would do things that are kind to yourself. Okay? You would be kind to yourself. And there's no way I'm going to ever believe that someone that's overweight and obese is happy being that way. You're not happy being that way. You can lie to yourself all you want to, but you're not happy because with being overweight, you have bone problems, you have breathing problems, you have high blood pressure, or you're pre diabetic. So there's nothing fun and happy about that. So you can lie to yourself and you can live in those delusions, but there's no way you're happy being obese. And I want to say that Lizzo is a very beautiful woman, but she does have to stop with the flawed narrative and stop perpetuating this foolishness to the masses. And furthermore, the masses have to stop drinking this Kool-Aid from her. We always talk about self-love, but you have to be truthful, and sometimes you have to get uncomfortable. Okay. Sometimes you have to do things you've never done to get the results that you want. So you will go through a period of being uncomfortable, but that's okay because guess what? You're not staying there. That's just where you are starting at. And it's okay to love yourself, right? We want you to love yourself, but you don't have to stay where you are. So go with me for a minute because I know a lot of people are probably saying, "Oh, you're just bashing her because you're a smaller woman and this and that." No, I'm not bashing her. I'm just telling the truth that she is morbidly obese and morbidly overweight. And the narrative for her has to change, but she has to be the one that wants to make that change. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring up a few points because what what is it worth without showing you some data, right? Okay. So, I'm going to show you three people. First is Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch is one of my favorites. He is a former NFL linebacker, a former NFL running back, excuse me. And of course, he played in NFL for about 12 seasons. And if you don't know, his nickname is Beast Mode. He is a very, very powerful running back. And he was great at what he did, had a great career, amongst other things. He did great things and continues to do great things in the community. So, Marshawn Lynch is 35 years old. This man is 5'11" and he weighs 215 pounds. Got it? So Marshawn Lynch is a super athlete, NFL player, running back. He stands at 5'11" and he weighs 215 pounds. Now, let's go over to Lizzo. Lizzo is 33 years old. She is 5'10" and weighs 308 pounds. So let's go back, flip back through. Let me give you the stats again. Marshawn Lynch, an NFL player, is 35 years old. He's 5'11" and he weighs 215 pounds. Lizzo, an American singer, is a woman, 33 years old. She's 5'10" and weighs 308 pounds. Last but not least, we have one of the greats, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. And if you don't know Shaq, I don't know where you've been other than under a rock, but he is a former NBA player, one of the greatest. He played with the great Kobe Bryant, rest his soul. Shaq is 50 years old, stands at 7'1", and he weighs 324 pounds. So you mean to tell me you don't believe that Lizzo is morbidly obese and overweight? So we're gonna say this. We're gonna compare Marshawn Lynch and Lizzo. Marshawn Lynch is older than Lizzo by 2 years. He is an inch taller than her, yet he weighs 215 pounds. She weighs 308 pounds, right? So she weighs 308 pounds and he weighs 215 pounds. She is almost 100 pounds larger than he is. She weighs 93 pounds more than him, although he's taller. So let's knock him out the way and let's compare Lizzo and Shaq. Shaq again is 50 years old. Okay, so if he's 50 years old, and what I say, she's 33, he is 17 years her senior. Okay, and he is 7'1". She is 5'10". He weighs 324 pounds. She weighs 308 pounds. So that means he only weighs 16 pounds more than her. So you're trying to tell me she only weighs 16 pounds less than a 7'1" man that's that is 70, that's 50 years old, and you don't think there's a problem with that? Yes. Now, to break that down, now you will see why I said she is morbidly obese. And if you want to continue to follow that narrative down to the abyss and the point of no return, then go ahead. But what I want to say is that being you can be delusional if you want, but obesity is bad. I want you to know that it's okay to want to make a change and want to make a change for the better, right? So let's finally change the narrative in saying, I love me and I love my body so much that I'm going to keep it healthy and fit. So guess what? That's part of the self-love. I love me and I love me enough that I want my body to be healthy and fit. So I'm going to work towards that today. I'm going to start today. And if I need assistance, I will find a trainer. I will find a coach, someone that can assist me because obviously whatever I've been doing is not working. So it's time for a change. We have to change and it starts with the mind. We have to have the mindset shift and we have to shift it to self love. We have to shift it from being delusional and making up all those excuses to shifting it to self love, to saying, hey, now I'm going to work on self. It's going to be about me. I'm going to stop with the excuses because there are no excuses except for me. I am the reason that I am here and I am in this predicament, but I am the reason that there will also be change. I am going to change that narrative and I'm making it up in my mind that I'm going to change it today. I don't need a partner because you don't need another person with you to lose weight. You don't need that. You can do it all by yourself. You came in this world by yourself. You can do it by yourself. So we're not using that account. I need an accountability partner. I need my friend with me. No, you don't. You don't, because guess what? Your friend will not be suffering with you. This is your body, your health. You take control of it. So after we shift our mindset to self-love, we're going to say, if you love yourself, you're going to stop doing these harmful things to yourself. If you love yourself, you will stop making excuses and change the unhealthy behaviors. And if you love yourself, you will be kind to yourself. You can always love yourself and still want to improve yourself. Love yourself and save your life, and let's lose weight. And I will leave you with the best advice that I can. You have to learn to love all of you. And we are perfectly imperfect, right? We were made in his image. So we were perfectly made that way. And we all have imperfections. That's what makes us human, and that's what makes us great. I am Cecily and I am me. There is no one else like me. However, I love me and I love all of those imperfections because that's the way I was supposed to be. That's what makes me the one and only Miss Cecily. So, after we change that narrative and we begin to learn to love all of ourselves and know that we are imperfectly perfect, right? You embrace that, and we will start making those lifestyle changes and always let your confidence speak for itself. I thank you again for joining me on What the Cecily. And of course, I am none other than your favorite personality, the one and only Miss Cecily. And I thank you again. And don't forget to join me on my next episode. And this podcast has been produced by the Inspired Media Group for publication on the Inspired TV network at www.cecily.com. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at What the Cecily. And for the latest news and updates on everything about Cecily and about podcasts and my new endeavors, be sure to visit me online for everything millennial fitness, lifestyle, and of course, all things Miss Cecily at www.cecily.com. That's www.cecily.com. Until next time.